The first trade in a while in the NBA just went down, and I think it was pretty much a win-win, but I'm very excited for the Toronto Raptors' future after this trade. It was Precious Achiuwa and OG Anunoby in exchange for RJ Barrett and Immanuel quickly, and like I said, I think it's a win-win trade. There was also a second-round pick involved, as well as Malachi Flynn, who's in competition for the worst backup point guard in the league. But as you can see there, that was a little summary. Quickly, I think is going to become a star for the Toronto Raptors, and we'll get into that later in today's video. But first, we're going to look at it from the New York Knicks point of view. I said it yesterday in the video I dropped about the Knicks. They need an elite wing defender. Unfortunately, they had to give up guys that give them about 33 points a game. But OG, he's going to have to produce more offensively, but he's averaging 15.1 points, 3.9 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1 steal, and he has the ability to take a star out of a playoff series defensively. Now, like we said, he's got to be able to create offense. He's going to be the number 3 option here in New York behind Randle and behind Jalen Brunson. Much more efficient than RJ Barrett. I think overall he's a little bit better than Barrett, even though he didn't really, he averages 3 less points a game, but he's much more efficient. And he's still 26 years old, so only 3 years older. But like I said, they're going to have to replace those 33 points per game that Quickly and RJ Barrett were able to give you. Honestly, if I was a Knicks fan, I'd be more upset that we had to give up Quickly than RJ Barrett. Now, Precious Achiuwa on the year, 7.7 points, 5.4 rebounds, 46% from the field, 24 years old. It'll be a good get for the Knicks to replenish their depth a little bit because as of right now, the depth is not looking great in New York. They were 16th in defensive rating coming into today, so OG I think he'd be able to get them up to at least like 13th just by himself. Immanuel Quickly is an upcoming free agent, and he is the same position as your franchise player, Jalen Brunson. They can't play together, so getting rid of him kind of makes sense. He would be nothing more than a 6th man in New York. OG has a player option this summer, so he could be a free agent. You better be able to bring him back, given that you just gave up Quickly and RJ Barrett. But Barrett is a big contract that they are able to dump, so it will give them more flexibility this offseason, as well as bringing in OG. Looking at the lineup here, I like the defense now. Dante DiVincenzo and OG Anunoby, that gives you good defense on the perimeter. You can kind of hide Jalen Brunson now. Brunson's still going to be the number 1 option, still going to be the best creator, but now you have OG Anunoby who can knock down the 3 ball. He's not shooting it at the most efficient clip of his career this year, but he has shown he can knock it down. Julius Randle still going to be the number 2 option there at the power forward spot. And then Isaiah Hartenstein, I really like him as a backup center. As a starter, not so much, but Mitchell Robinson is out for the year, so that's what has to happen. And like I said, they don't have much bench depth now. With Quickly gone, Quickly was a 6th man of the year contender. So make sure you hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you are enjoying today's video at any point. As you can see here, a large majority of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel, so if that is you, go ahead and fix that right now. And with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on looking at the Raptors' point of view. This is a big dub for the Raptors, in my opinion. You bring in Mr. Canada. RJ Barrett is coming back home. This, if anything, it'll increase ticket sales. On the year, he's averaging about 18 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.4 assists at 23 years old. Now you bring him in alongside Scottie Barnes. Your wings are averaging 40 a game combined, and Scottie Barnes can lock down somebody on the perimeter. RJ has the tools to be an elite defender if he wants to be. He's just got to be more efficient. This is year 4? And he's still shooting at 42% from the field, 33% from 3. That's not going to cut it on the perimeter. We need RJ to be a little bit more efficient there. And hopefully going back home playing in Toronto, it'll be a little bit easier for him than in the bright lights of New York. Now, a huge steal, and that is that the Raptors got their new franchise point guard. Quickly on the year is putting up about 15 points per game, 2.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists. And you might be like, what are you freaking out about? Those aren't exactly generational numbers. Well, he's only playing 24 minutes a game, and he's the backup to Jalen Brunson, and he was putting up those numbers. Especially when you consider that he's shooting at 45% from the field, 40% from 3 on 5 attempts. He's 24 years old, and yes, he is an upcoming free agent, but he will be restricted, so they should be able to re-sign him somewhere in the 4-year, $90 million range. I think that'd be probably a steal. Per 36 numbers, he's averaging only 3 less points than Jalen Brunson, 2 less assists, and the same amount of rebounds. That's pretty solid. He is definitely going to be the new franchise point guard in Toronto, and I cannot wait to see him grow and develop. Now, I think this does mean that Pascal Siakam will be gone. The Raptors are going young, and if you look at kind of the way this roster is headed, RJ's 23, Quickly's 24, Grady Dick is like 19, 20. Scottie Barnes is in, his third year. Gary Trent Jr. is still 25. They are young. They've got a good young core. Jalen McDaniels at 26. I would love to see him get more PT now that OG is gone. He can fill some of those wing minutes. And they can get a haul for Pascal Siakam. They can get a good young player as well as 2 first-round picks at the minimum, in my opinion, would be the asking price for Pascal, because he's a guy that can get you 23 a game on really good efficiency and can do everything at 6'9", 6'10". Jakob Poeltl and Dennis Schroeder could also get dealt. We'll see what happens. But did I spell that right? But we'll see what happens there. If I had to bet, though, Pascal will be gone, and you probably have a top 5 pick upcoming where you can spend it on another power forward center type guy that can play defense, that can run the court, and that can shoot the 3 ball. Or you could sign a guy like that. Either way, you have the luxury now with a lot of young pieces in place. You can kind of adapt the roster to wherever this pick ends up being. And if you luck out and get the number 1 pick, or, even if it's a top 5 pick, you take best player available and you mold the roster around it. I'm really liking what's happening here in Toronto. Looking at the upcoming schedule for the Knicks, they dropped the game last night to the Magic, so now they got the Pacers coming up, and then they play the Timberwolves. It's going to be 2 tough games. OG needs to get there and get into the lineup as quick as possible. And then you got Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, and Portland. So those 3 of those last 4 should be dubs. Philadelphia will be tough, but you got to figure out a way to take one of these next 2 and then 3 of those last 4. You should be in pretty good shape. Looking at the standings, we're only taking a look at the Knicks here because the Raptors, they're kind of in tank mode now. They're kind of in, all right, let's go get a good pick. Let's trade Pascal. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw that here soon. Maybe even later today. Maybe they got something in the works. But the Knicks right now are the 7 seed at 17 and 14 now after last night's loss. So they got some work to do. They don't want to be in the play-in. Nobody wants to be in the play-in. That's a tough spot to be. So, yeah, like I said, they got some work to do. Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comment section below. I think this is a win-win trade, and I'm really liking it for Toronto because maybe Barrett can be more efficient outside of the bright lights of New York, and Immanuel quickly he's going to be a stud. I mean, he's going to be a guy. I think they're going to hand him the keys because of how efficient he was off the bench in limited minutes. I'd like to see him playing 32, 33 minutes a night and give him the keys to the offense. I mean, he's the guy now in Toronto, and RJ Barrett can be the second option. You still have Scottie Barnes, though, so I like the direction that this Raptors team is headed. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button as it'll really help us out in the YouTube algorithm. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this trade. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.